Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're traveling back to 1992 to talk about one of the most underrated bands that I've ever come across. The Kitchens of Distinction is the band. Kind of a strange name, right? But this album is The Death of Cool, and it's probably their most consistent album. They've got a really interesting mix of like passionate dream pop with a little bit of shoegaze, but they were really good songwriters. And it's a little confusing as to why they were never really big, either in a mainstream way or like in a cult way. They kind of slipped under the radar. But I really like this album. It probably is their best album. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. So let's jump in with track number 1, which is called What Happens Now? Such a great beginning to this album, and I love the sound effects on the guitars just throughout this album as a whole. I think they're really special. And I like these lyrics a lot too, because basically what he's talking about is how love will eventually fade given time. You know, time is the killer of everything, in other words. So like no matter how much you love somebody, given enough time, who knows what will happen. So in this relationship, which by the way, I forgot to mention, the relationships on this album are gay relationships. So this guy loves another man, right? And everything was all smiles and plans at the beginning, as he puts it. But given enough time, everything became tamed, as he says. So everything is normalized. Everything is kind of like not very exciting. They probably aren't very intimate anymore, you know, stuff like that. But given even more time, our main character, it sounds like he cheated on his lover, right? He was looking for intimacy elsewhere because he just couldn't deal with it anymore. But of course, he instantly regrets it after being caught. So the song essentially is about, as far as I can tell, is about how time kills everything. And it's just strange how that works. How is it possible that you can be so in love with somebody, but given enough time, it'll just, fade away. So I like that quite a bit, It's a very interesting song in a multitude of ways. But that's all I want to say about it. So let's move on to track 2, which is called For Men.
He cannot get his fill. Never thought he would ever want this much from a man, but love is steeper, sharper slide.
Yeah, this song is really powerful, right? Again, I mentioned this album deals with gay themes and lyrics, which is pretty obvious in this song, right? Because you've got this man who wasn't sure exactly of his orientation, but it sounds like he met a man who he fell totally in love with, and it caught him completely off guard. So he knows, obviously, that in whatever society he's in 1992, that kind of thing is not exactly the most accepted, right? So when he says it takes a lot of lust and strength to turn to him and say, I want you and I need you, I mean, I can never identify with this guy, right? Because my own version of that is like not even close. I mean, my version of that would be, I have some crush on this girl, and I'm kind of shy and anxious, and I'm afraid of rejection, right? It's not like, oh, I have a crush on this person, and if people found out, I would be like publicly shamed or worse. So I like this song a lot because it puts you in perspective, right? It puts all of your problems in perspective. Like, you may be having a rough time, but at least you're not a man who's in love with another man in a society that would totally look down upon you for that kind of thing. So I like this song quite a bit in terms of its message. You know, sonically, it's not one of my favorite songs, but it's not bad either. But it is an interesting song. So that's all I want to say about it, though. So let's move on to track 3, which is called On Tooting, Broadway Station.
On Tooting, Broadway Station, I knelt down and wept. My hands hit the concrete floor until my fingers bled. I will cut him out of my heart. I will leave these tears in pools. Trip over these pourings, tripped over his feelings. I've cut him out of my heart. So I'll burn his clothes, burn everything he owned, and the empty chamber left. I'll carry around as this hollowness that drags in my voice. Burn, burn it all, burn it all. Benedictory fire, blessing of these burns. Burn it all, burn it all. Benedictory fire, blessing of these burns.
Yeah, my goodness. When I said that this was a passionate dream pop album, I mean, here you go, right? Track 3. But I like this song quite a bit because, you know, on the surface level, it's a breakup song, and obviously this guy's very upset. But I think of it a little bit deeper, right? Because on track 2, we discovered that our hero has admitted to himself that he's gay and that he's in love with a man. But on track 3, it sounds like they had this huge breakup where I would imagine our hero's lover has decided that he can't stand the secrecy, he can't stand this forbidden love, and that he's decided that he's just going to break up with this guy. And our poor hero, right, not only did it take a lot of strength for him to admit he was gay and to admit his love for this man, but now he's got to deal with this heartbreak. So like I can totally understand why he feels like he needs to burn all of this guy's possessions just to try and forget about him, right? Because not only did he lose his love, but he lost his forbidden love, which is even worse. So geez Louise, this poor guy. But anyway, that's what I want to say about this song. It's a very, very powerful song. It's one of my favorites. But let's move on. Let's move on to track 4, which is called "Breathing Fear."
So full of hope that he can't sit still, even in the present
This song is very inspirational, both lyrically and sonically. I mean, sonically, it sounds wonderful and hopeful. But again, we've got this gay couple, and they have to deal with being teased, with being taunted, with being beaten up sometimes. And yet they're still together. They still love each other. They still put up with all this BS to be with each other. So it's a very inspirational song. But also, you know, I can only imagine the amount of strain that all of that puts on the relationship, right? Because the guy that gets beaten up and teased, he must ask himself, like, is this worth it? Like, is it worth it for me to put up with all this BS just to be with this guy? You know, I can only imagine. You know, I'm a straight person, so I've never had to deal with anything like that. And so I can only imagine just how hard it must be to put all of that extra weight on this relationship. So it's a very deep song if you consider that as well. And I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite tracks in the album, but that's all I wanted to say about it, really. I'm going to skip track 5, which is a good song. It's 8 minutes long, but there wasn't much I wanted to say about it. So let's talk about track 6, which is another favorite. It's called When in Heaven. So let's check it out. Yeah, so this song is really lovely sounding, but it's kind of confusing in a way. You know, lyrically, it sounds like he's envying somebody like Marilyn Monroe who gets to go to heaven, you know, because she was straight and she's enjoying all of the wonders of heaven. But for our guy, our main character who's openly gay, he's drinking away all of his sorrows. He says he's dreaming of cures. So what that line means to me is that he thinks there's something wrong with him. And he's even considering the fact that, well, if there's something wrong with me and I continue to give in to my homosexuality, then maybe I won't end up like Marilyn Monroe. Maybe I won't end up in heaven. So it sounds like on one hand, you know, he's getting through each day by drinking away his sorrows. But on the other hand, he's really worried about the fact that maybe he does have some sort of disease. Maybe he does need to be cured. And if he's not cured, he might not end up achieving the long-term goal, which is to be in heaven and to enjoy all of that. So it sounds like he's kind of religious and he's really wrestling with the fact that he's gay and what does that mean exactly? You know, is that gonna mean that God will punish him if he continues to act this way? So it's kind of a deep song. One of my favorite songs. I really like it. But let's move on to track number 7, which is called Mad as Snow.
It's okay, I promise I'll stay. Turn down the lights, I'll sit with you, we'll talk like we're friends. Tell me where this troubled love began. We can count the flakes as it snows and snows.
I really love this song. I like that he compares this one night stand to snow falling, in the sense that, like, while it's falling, it's this beautiful, wonderful thing. But obviously, as the snow hits the ground, it's going to melt and it's going to fade, and this romance will, just kind of fade away. But in the moment, these two are lovers and they're enjoying this moment together. And one of them is obviously having a very hard time. They're thinking about an ex and they're a little sad. They're a little depressed about it. But it's so wonderful that this guy's temporary lover is helping them get through this moment. He sympathizes and he's like, let's talk like we're friends. I'll help you get through this sad moment that you're having. And even though our love is temporary like the snow, for the moment it's beautiful, and let's get through this together. So it's a very hopeful, romantic song. I really like it. But that's all I really want to say about it. So let's move on to track number 8, which is called Smiling.
He's not falling, simply waiting, fading at the edges, sitting back, thinking that there's little point in moving. He smiles, says his stars are friendly, and nothing can be done. Shall we get very drunk? He says I stay alive, it's the best thing, the only thing I know. She's not talking, easy dreaming all that life away. She gets laughing, miss the light, no regrets today. She looks up, now the sunset, was it very, very good? Shall we get really high? She says I stay alive, it's the best thing, the only thing I know. She says, hold me hard, hold me harder. Stop me thinking about myself, stop me hoping for more than I own. She says, why do I want more than good looks? Why do I want more than great looks? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? She smiles and stays alive, it's the best thing, the only thing she knows.
Yeah, I really, really like this song, sonically and philosophically. Because again, you've got these two gay people who have decided that they want to just coast through life. They don't want to put up a fight. They don't want to deal with the taunting and the teasing and the heartbreak and the shame. And they don't want to get beaten up for loving another person of the same sex. So they'd rather just stay alive, as they say. It's the only thing they've ever known. They don't want to experience the highs, and they want to experience the lows. So they're just going to drift through life. And so we kind of ask ourselves philosophically, like, are they cowards for doing that, or can we blame them? And as far as I'm concerned, we can't really blame these people. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to really put up with all of the BS that gay people at this time had to put up with to just be themselves. So can you really blame them for hiding, for not expressing their true selves? I mean, I can't blame them. I don't know if I could do it myself. I don't know if I was in their shoes, I don't know what I would do exactly, So I can't blame them. So these poor people, they're in this impossible situation. But anyway, so Smiling is one of my favorite songs, absolutely. But I only have one more track that I want to talk about with you guys. It's the next track, track 9. It's called Blue Petal. So let's check it out.
Has become obscure.
Yeah, it's such a sad song. And even sonically, it sounds pretty down and out. You know, it sounds like a main character is in his early 40s or something. And, you know, when he was younger, he tried being openly gay. You know, he dealt with all the pain and hardship that came with being openly gay. He was teased, he was taunted, he was beaten up, all of those things that we talked about before. And it sounds like in his older age, he's decided that it's just not worth it, that he doesn't want to deal with the pain anymore. You know, as he puts it, all that was gold has lost its shine. So it sounds like he's been completely defeated, that he doesn't have the courage and strength anymore to deal with all the BS that he's had to deal with throughout his life. So it's a very sad ending. It's a very sad album in particular. But yeah, that's what I really want to say about The Death of Cool. Again, just a very passionate dream pop gem that kind of flew under the radar. So here's my part to get them a little bit more heard and recognized, hopefully, you know. But I hope you guys thought it was interesting. As always, though, feel free to let me know what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you have some interpretations you want to share? You know. But if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It'd really help me out. But yeah, that's the Kitchens of Distinction. That's The Death of Cool. You know, check it out and have a good one.